Welcome to the Connect2Grow quarterly smart selling in the AI era, powered by tech and driven by people. I'm so excited about today's conversation and a little bit of a masterclass. And with Gift Lubele, I'm going to read some about his bio. I know most people do get a little bit uncomfortable, but we need to sing their praises when it's worth. So before I do that, let me just say live to the Instagram audience as well. Welcome to those that are joining us from Instagram, YouTube, as well as LinkedIn. And please do pose your questions. As always, we want this to be as interactive as possible. I will check your comments in between. We have two very excited people sitting in studio also wanting to join us. So if you do have the desire to pop in with us at any given time, you would have received the link as well. So without further ado, let me just read this amazing bio. He is a very humble man, but he has done so much already. Gift is an AI entrepreneur, a technologist, and creative innovator building at the intersection of artificial intelligence, African music, as well as economic development. He is the CEO and co-founder of, now I may very well not be able to say this correctly, Auraa Africa. You're going to correct me soon. An AI-powered African music creation platform addressing the systemic underrepresentation of African sound in global AI training data, with 1,500 plus AI generated tracks and about 700,000 Spotify streams today. He also serves as an AI lead and business growth specialist at Yidi, a level 1 BE enterprise development consultancy, where he leads AI platform development and program delivery for corporate clients, including IBM, Nedbank, Standard Bank, as well as Mr. Price Foundation. Previously, he co-founded Kudoti, I may have said that wrong too, forgive me, a Google and Techstars-backed waste tech SaaS platform that scaled across 6 African markets to a $3 million valuation, tracking 2 million plus kilograms of waste with partners including Nestle and Distal. Now here it is, he holds an MBA in AI and data analytics from Halt International Business School and has been recognized as a BRICS Young Innovator Prize recipient, World Economic Forum Global Shaper, and a TEDx speaker. He is also a professional DJ and an amapiano artist. I love me some amapiano. He's the creator of South Africa's first AI-generated amapiano album, featured on podcasts and Chill with Mag. With 11,000 plus LinkedIn followers and a track record spanning AI, enterprise development, sustainability, and Africa's creative economy, Gift is driven by a singular mission: ensuring Africa leads, not follows, in the global AI revolution. So not just a handsome face, lots of brains, in his very young life has achieved many accomplishments, and we are just honored and grateful that he chose us to have this conversation with us today. So welcome again, Gift. The floor
Thank
is
you.
yours. You're going to
Yeah,
take
thank
us
you.
on a journey. You may want to just give us a sneak peek what we're going to receive from everyone today, and then I'm going to hand over to you.
Thank you very much, Anissa. I think it's the honor is mine. I absolutely love the work that you guys have been doing, and I think with Ziba actually pushing this, I was looking at some of your AI certification courses last night, and it's really exciting for sure. So thank you for having me. How I plan on running this session is going to be more like an engagement as opposed to me just presenting to you. So how the layout is I have a mentor meter which I will share the link and also the code, but I will just share my screen in a bit. I do encourage anyone that's joining in to go online, engage with it, right? It's a few questions, but I really want to get those questions in my presentation because I don't want this to just be another talk that you listen to. I want this to be a an opportunity for you to take AI tools that you can actually start implementing as soon as this call comes to an end. So I will begin maybe firstly by just sharing my screen, and I will start with the mentor meter one. I'll have the code. I'll have this here for a little bit, and what I would encourage is the just go to Mentometer, right? So, but the participants or anyone on the call should then be. I will just add this code in the chat. I've shared the link, and let's start engaging. I see there's one participant who has responded already, so that's good. Sorry, I just want to get this code. Actually, Anissa, if you don't mind.
Perfect. Sorry about that interruption, Gift.
No worries.
I'll put the Mentometer also in the chat for those that are listening in.
Perfect. And then if you could just also add this code on the chat, that would be perfect.
Did you add another code? I don't see it in the chat.
No. So let me add it now. 8525. Okay. So the code should be now in the chat.
Okay.
What I encourage the participants to do, just go to Mentometer, add this code, and then you should pop up here. So the first question that I would want to ask is, what do you think AI needs, right? Like, don't tell me about the things you've read, but if you could describe AI in just one word, what would that be, right? And I see there's a few people joining now, but I think for the interest of time, I'll start with my presentation, and then I'll come back to this, because I think this is really important for us to really understand why we speak about AI, how we describe it. And I'm not just saying this for the sake of it. I've learned that there's a lot that people say AI is, and it is not, right? So part of what we want to do is just understand, progress. I like that. Someone says AI is progress. Let's leave a few participants to come in while I then share my slides. So
okay.
Just confirm, Anissa, on your side, if you can see my slides.
Not yet. I think it's still warming itself up. Just for those that are here with us while we're waiting on the slides, I have mentioned and put in the private chat here, if you're in studio, we will call on you if you do want to connect with us directly here in studio with us. But alternatively, I have put in the private chat. You can also watch this live stream from LinkedIn as well as from YouTube, which I'll just repost again for those that have joined afterwards.
Sounds good. Are you able to see my screen now?
I still don't see it, unfortunately. Maybe just reshare, stop share and reshare.
Yep, doing that now. How about now?
Not yet.
Huh.
This is life, right? This is what technology does sometimes.
Yeah.
Not infallible. And we work with it and not against it.
Yeah. So I'm actually seeing the screen.
Hold on. I see it there.
Okay. Perfect.
Fantastic. It's there.
Sure. So the session is AI for business growth, because I know that people are speaking about AI. AI is like this new exciting thing. But what I've learned is we still don't understand what AI is in relation to our businesses, in relation to our lives, and how is it that we can then leverage its full power to help us grow, whether it's in business or in person. And this is what this session is for, particularly for businesses. I want to be speaking about practical AI tools, some case studies within the African continent that are really exciting, and some execution frameworks that I will leave you with, right? So this is This is another poll rather. I just want to get from I'm seeing my participants in Mentimeter are very small, but when people speak about how they are using AI, this is generally what I get. This was a Mentimeter poll, but my participants is only 2. So I can just go ahead, right? And if you have any question, or rather, just let me know. But in here, if you fit in any part of this, so whether you have started with AI or you haven't, or you're using tools, just comment, right? But what I get in a lot of conversations I have with businesses, they can basically be divided into these 4 parts. A lot of businesses says, I haven't started with AI, but I'm very curious. Some say, yeah, I've played around with ChatGPT, but that's as far as I've gotten. And then some say, I do use AI tools on a weekly basis. And you have businesses that have really started embedding AI into their businesses as well, right? So again, with the Mentimeter, it's still live. I've made the second slide available, so you just select whichever one you feel you fit in. And by at least halfway through the presentation, we'll go back and revisit the Mentimeter results.
Yes. So just to clarify, do you want me just to put that again on, especially for those that may have joined later?
Sure.
Okay, I'll put it back on.
Sure. So if I share my screen, can you see the Mentimeter now?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, sure. So the results are coming in, but if you've just joined us now, I encourage you to go to Mentimeter, use the code displayed on the screen. Let's make this an interactive session. So it's not just me presenting. I do want you to also give me your thoughts so we make this engaging. And I'll continue doing this, Anissa. Whenever there's a Mentimeter poll, I'll just share my screen a little bit, give a bit of context, and then continue, right?
Thank you.
This is kind of what the session's roadmap is going to look like. We have over 30 tools that I'm going to be sharing with you today. I have also put them by different departments. I have really interesting case studies as well that I'm going to be speaking about. I also would love to do a live demo, right? So in other words, I would like to have a volunteer that says, Gift, I've heard so much about AI. I still haven't really tested it. I have this particular problem. How do I respond to it? And I would love to just take you through how I would respond to that. And then there's also things like the RACI prompting framework that I will share with you. But what is quite interesting is by the end of the session, what I want is for you to walk away with a 7-day action plan around some of the common pitfalls that you might have, or perhaps you might know someone that might have this, right? So starting off, and this is why it's quite interesting to understand what AI is, right? Many people define it in all sorts of different ways. But for me, what I would say is right now, AI is the new infrastructure. And what I mean by that is I can see businesses using AI as a foundation to actually run their business. So it's no longer a luxury thing. It is, in fact, I wrote here, it is the electricity of modern businesses. Why is this important? There's a recent study that shows that about 72% of businesses using AI report revenue growth. Now, 72% is really significant. In fact, if you look back in time, I don't recall any technology or any revolution that has as a direct and as a powerful impact as AI is having today. So this is really impressive. And why is this? It's because previously, we as individuals, we as entrepreneurs, we as businesses have spent a lot of time doing manual processes, doing manual work that could actually be automated, that could actually be taken away by AI and agentic AI as well in our processes. You know, things like writing a blog, you might have taken 2 to maybe even 6 hours. Things like customer support, you are only available from 9 to 5. Where else, if you used AI, I mean, I do this, you know, writing a blog is simply a less than 20 minutes activity where you are able to engage with AI. And again, as I continue, I will show you how to do this, but I will also show you what not to do, right? And then,
So, Gift, before you
yeah,
continue, we have our taker. I've put the first one who said yes as a volunteer. It's Ian Domisay.
okay.
I do know Ian, so what I'll do is I'll connect with him privately and send him. How do you want this to be? Does he need to follow through on YouTube, or do we bring him into studio? Can you just guide on that?
Sure. Literally, it's just going to be a series of questions, and I can just ask them here. So when you reach out to him, you can just ask him these questions. Ask
Okay.
him what is his current, what is his current top 3 challenges, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that is the first one. The second one is on a weekly basis, what currently takes a lot of his time and it's manual and he still has to do. In other words, it could be something like every single week I need to invoice a client, or every single week I need to respond to an email, or every single week I need to, whatever it may be. What is it that you have to do every single week that is very manual, that takes your time, but it also is important for your business, right? And then the last question that I would want you to ask him is, if he had a magic wand, right? If he had a magic wand
Yes.
to just, throw around and say abracadabra, and one of his top problems is solved, what would that look like? So what does success look like for a problem that he might have, right? So if you
I
can just
will.
share that with him, that would be
I
perfect.
will. Thank you.
Great, great. So as I was saying that, AI, before it existed, we had also a lot of market research that needed to be done, and this meant days of Googling. I mean, I was speaking to one young individual the other day, and I was explaining to them how Google used to work. And I almost sounded so old because they were asking me questions like, so you telling me that you would have to go to over 20, sometimes even 50 pages on Google, searching every single page just to find information. And then you have to take that information and consolidate it. Shamefully, I said, yes, that's what we used to do. And that doesn't happen anymore because, this young individual is someone that is so interested in AI. And within 5 minutes, they can give you a detailed, comprehensive report about anything, right? And this is what AI is able to do. Social media is the same thing, right? And what we've seen is, because AI is so efficient, the average cost actually drops. And there's a study that says 40% average cost drop in automated tasks once AI is implemented. Not only that, you become so fast. I mean, we are living now in a world where being fast is actually an advantage, and AI is able to do that to help us with that, right? So if you have to take notes, if you have to take a picture, I would encourage you start here, because I am now starting to go into the AI toolkit of what it might look like for a modern entrepreneur. Now,
So, Gift,
already,
just to
sure,
pause,
yeah,
apologies for the interruption. I'm going to pause
no worries,
occasionally because I'm sure this is going to be a question from the audience. We're
sure,
asking them to take a screenshot, but will we be able to share some of this resources post this event, and
yeah.
so that we can give them enough time to connect with
To
it?
listen, absolutely, yeah. Maybe actually I should ask people not to take screenshots or pictures. I'll send the presentation after, right? So you might have already be on the call now and seeing some of the tools here, and you might say, "Oh yeah, I know what ChatGPT is," right? That's perfect. But do you fully understand what that is, right? Like in a sense that have you tested its full capability? So how I think of it, oh sorry, how I think of it is I've put some small descriptions here. We obviously don't have time for us to go into each tool, and so I'll just be scraping through them. But think of ChatGPT as like the Swiss Army knife of AI, right? So a Swiss Army knife can do so many things. You can open a tin can, you can open wine. The same with ChatGPT, right? So you can write blogs, you can do emails, you can copy scripts. There's so many things that you can do there. And obviously, I don't want to speak about it too much, but really, all the different tools here that I have are firstly important for your writing and your content creation, right? Not only that, you don't even have to pay for some of these. Like some of these are free, and trust me, the free stuff is really good. An exciting one I want to speak about is SEO, which basically is an AI SEO content editor. So what it does is if you are, doing content of any kind, you take what you have, you put it in here, and it is then able to analyze some of your top competitors, come back, give you guide on how you actually could improve further, right? So that's content and writing. In terms of design, again, you might already be seeing some of these AI tools here, but perhaps you are not fully understanding what it might look like. Take Canva, for example. How my laptop is set up right now is when I am on Claude, it's fully integrated. I have an entire workflow whereby if I am on a meeting with a client and I have a note taker, it already takes notes for me. It is integrated with my Google Drive. My Google Drive stores this information quite well. And then after the meeting, if the client says to me, Gift, could you create a presentation? I can just tell my AI, Claude, to say, build me a presentation in Canva, and it's already interconnected. Previously, this would have taken me an entire day, right? I would have needed to manually write down the notes. I would have needed to then try and transcribe what the client wanted, and then take that, manually create a presentation. By the end of the day, that whole time is gone, right? Whereas right now, it doesn't even take me a thing. I don't even lift a finger, right? It's Canva. It's integrated with the different tools that I use. And as I'm speaking to people, things are happening in the background. This is how you should be thinking about it. It's not just you going into Canva and saying, hey, create for me or design for me this. It's ensuring that it is connected with other resources that help you do what you need to do. The same goes with 11 Labs. I want to speak about 11 Labs. And again, we will not have time for me to go through every single tool here. But 11 Labs for me is quite an interesting one because what they do is AI voice generation, right? Whereby you are able to start looking at if I had a professional voice, what would I do with it, right? And from a design and visual content point of view, don't let your mind limit you. So you must go wild. So if I have, for example, a shirt printing business, how might I use 11 Labs? What I would do is create an ad or create an ad with an AI, tool. I would also be able to create a podcast. I don't even have to own anything. I could literally just have 11 Labs, Agenic Voices, creating a podcast that speaks about shirts, that speaks about my journey as an entrepreneur. And so I think what is also exciting is you are also able to have 11 Labs responding to your customer on a call. So if you are able to set up 11 Labs, Your customers can call you, an agent can answer the phone and say, hey, you are speaking to Susan, how might I help? And you would have built that entire back end, structure to say, when someone calls you, this is what you do, this is the services that we offer. The agent is able to speak with the client, and the client would not even know that you're speaking to an agent, right? So think about how many other applications something like this could actually create for you as a business, right? And I think when we think about AI and we think about what it can do, in many cases, really, the only limitation that stop us is our own imagination of what is it that we can do with it. That's why when I started, I'd asked what AI means for you, right? We then also come to automation, and really for me, this is my favorite part. I spoke to you about the different tools on my laptop right now that are all interconnected, and this is what it is. As a modern entrepreneur, you cannot live and not know how to automate. It is more important than ever before. You need to know how to automate your processes, right? So I already spoke about Fireflies. So Fireflies is, a note taker that summarizes, transcribes meeting notes. It can also put actions in there. My Firefly is connected to my Notion. It's connected to my Drive. It's connected to my Claude. It's connected to my Canva. I had already given you an example to say when I speak with a client online, that's all I do. I just speak. As soon as the meeting ends, I already have notes. I have actions that I can just go to my AI and say, action those, create a presentation. Because it's connected to so many other things, there's a beautiful automated flow that goes through that. Now, from a productivity point of view, that is saving me so much time, right? I can actually focus on the things that actually matter, whether it is getting more clients, whether it is, getting funding. For me, this is really exciting. For other even more advanced app, there's Zapier. Zapier has over 6,000 apps, and all of them have no code. Because many times when I speak about AI, people are like, oh, Gift, but I don't have any experience with coding. Guess what? You don't have to, right? In fact, vibe coding, as they call it, I would say it is actually the new way of building code. It's just still in its infancy stages. But if anything that we have learned is every single week, AI grows exceptionally fast, right? It grows exponentially. So right now, there's a lot of criticism about vibe coding and building things that, without a solid understanding of Python or any other language. But my argument is it's only going to get better, right? So Zapier works with over 6,000 apps without any code. And this could be, you could build such a beautiful automated process, whether it is sending an email, to creating a conversation with someone, to syncing into your CRM. I mean, an example would be if, let's say, you are trying to get clients, right? You can build out an automation process in Zapier where you just list all of your clients, right? You find a pre-qualification tool, maybe like Hunter AI or whatever, that finds you the right clients that you want, and then it plugs them on. Once it finds these clients, it puts them nicely in an Excel spreadsheet. It creates email that is personalized for each client, looking at the latest news that is happening for that specific client. It can then send an email on your behalf and track what that email is doing, right? Is it opened? Did it get opened and not respond? There was no response. And then if perhaps there's no response after 2 or 3 days, you can actually automate it to a point that it then connects with that person on LinkedIn, right? So all of that entire process, you can actually do it in platforms like Zapier, right? Again, the time I have is very limited. I mean, with Zapier alone, I can speak for hours because of just the capability that exists in there, right? So you can imagine my frustration. I'm speaking to you. I have to choose one or few things here to speak about, but really, the only way you're going to learn about these tools is if you go and you play with it. I always say, when I give people technology, my ask from them is try and break it, right? Try and break it. Use it so much that you want it to break, because the more you do that is the more you learn about this tool, right?
So,
The sale, yeah.
before you head off to the next one, we are going to have, for those that are listening in, we're not just going to give you slides. We are going to talk maybe to even some different case study examples of industries or service-related environments, and how does this work in the entrepreneurial work if you're a service-related business versus a product-related business. We have some people in studio here. Please just be patient with us. I want Gift to get through as much as he can. And as you can see and hear, there's a lot to get through. So this will be my final interjection before we go into the interactive stage, which will be from about, what time did we say? We'll do it from about 10 to 1 onwards, 10 to 5 to 1. I don't want to put a time limit for Gift, because there is quite powerful information that he's sharing here. So again, over to you, Gift.
Thanks, Anissa. Sure. The sales and marketing, and I'm going to try and speed it up because I still have a few things to cover. The sales and marketing, but sales and marketing also, it is essentially building and integrating AI so that you don't have to do a lot of things. Whether you are a business that sends out newsletters, you can use MailChimp for that. Whether you are a company that posts a lot on social media, you can have Buffer AI do that. If you have a CRM where you want to predict your deals, send out emails, you can use HubSpot for that. This is also finance, and I think for me this is the most important one, because a lot of businesses in South Africa are struggling to get funding, are struggling to get support, because their finances are just all over the place, right? You yourself might not even have a finance background. You might not even understand accounting that well. Guess what? You don't have to. You can start leveraging AI to help you set that up and start understanding even deeper what you need to do from a finance point of view, right? An interesting example here that I want to speak about is Notebook LM. Notebook LM by far is the most intriguing platform that I've engaged from an AI research assist point of view. And I say that because you can basically take an Excel spreadsheet of your finances and upload it on Notebook LM and say, explain my business using this Excel. It will not only give you a podcast, it will give you a mind map, it will give you a video, it will give you a podcast. You can get a podcast explaining your business to you, right? So for me, this is really exciting. People always say, this sounds really expensive, Gift. Sounds good. I love it, but I just don't have money. I don't have money to spend. It's not that expensive, really. I mean, first of all, if you are unsure if you want to spend or not, there's a starter. And the reason I'd position it like this is perfect for people that want to test AI before they start investing in it, right? Most of the tools you would have seen on my slide that I share, I put price, but I also put is it free or not free? If you want to test them out, there's a bunch of free AI tools that you can go check out. But if maybe you already are using AI to some extent and you want to scale, there's also a package that you can start looking at, right? I've obviously selected a few things here just based on my kind of, usability of AI, but it could really be anything in here. And for example, if you have ChatGPT Plus, you have Canva Pro, you have Zapier, you have Buffer Essential, and you have Order, which is another note taker, you basically have a really strong growth pack because you can connect all of them. By the way, all of these here you can connect, and they can all speak to each other. When Otter takes your meeting, your ChatGPT already knows what you're talking about, who you're talking to. Maybe you have Zapier connections as well to send a follow-up meeting as soon as your meeting ends. Whatever may be the case, you can build that, right? If you have you have a power suite as well, which is for people that actually then just want to grow a bit faster. I did want this to also be a mentor-meter session. And in fact, maybe this might be a good idea to revisit Mentimeter. So there's four response, right? One says I use it weekly, but there's two interesting ones that have said I actually have embedded AI into my daily operations. And if you are on this call and you have selected this part, I'd love in our discussion for you to come on and actually share a little bit how you have started onboarding AI into your business. But the second question, or the third question rather, that I had is, what is your biggest challenge, right? Is it getting more clients? Is it marketing? Is it managing your daily operations and time? Is it keeping up with technology and what your competitors are doing? Is it reducing cost or improving cash flow? Whatever it may be, AI can help you do that. And just looking at time, I do want to speak, Anisha, to the individual that you mentioned have raised their hand to be a volunteer.
Yes. I can get him into studio. Would you like him to come into studio?
Yeah, that would be perfect, actually.
Okay, I'll bring him in the next 5 minutes.
Okay. While we wait, right, I'm gonna go ahead and just move on to the next slide. But the reason I want to bring this particular entrepreneur into studio is I want them to tell us what their problem is, and let's do almost like a 5-minute live check of what solving that problem might look like, right? I've also put here some different cases depending on department. I'm going to go through this quite quickly because I think I've spoken about some of these tools previously, and then I'll go straight into the case studies. So we spoke about AI for social media or content and writing, but this is AI for marketing and sales. I mean, marketing and sale is basically the engine for a lot of businesses, right? And what that usually includes is social media, is managing your websites and making sure that it's quite good in terms of SEO, your search engine optimization. It's having a good email marketing campaign. It's having good leads, right? Where you are able to score your leads and have really good sales prediction methods. You can then also do A/B testing to see which one works and which one doesn't work. And then managing your reviews and customer. Everything I just spoke about now is sales and marketing. And of course, there's more. But AI can really help you with this, right? I speak here how it can help you, with each of these different verticals. And again, we might not have time for me to speak individually into these, but this for me really is supposed to be something that you take and say, okay, right now I am doing a lot of manual work from a social media point of view. How can I start using AI to take away this part, right? Or customer reviews or reputation or emails, whatever it is, you can start doing that. For operations, this in fact, in my experience, and I've worked with over 500 entrepreneurs, engaging with them and on a professional level, and also in some of the programs that we do. In the programs we do, without a doubt, I can say 50% of the entrepreneurs, 50% of the entrepreneurs I spoke with did not have any any source of what am I saying? They did not have any tech in their operation, right? Whether it's sourced, whether it's internally built, they just didn't. So 50% of businesses did not have any sort of operational tech in their business. What that meant is everything was manual, right? From the meetings that they join, they take notes on books, from the document generation, whether it's proposals or contracts, these in many cases sit all over the place. There's no single place where they're all securely located. They don't have workflows, of course, but AI can come and really assist in this regard, right? From a document generation point of view, all the way to managing your team. And the caveat here is you need to always be very specific, right? And as much as you can, do your own research first before you use any AI output out there. I'll give you an example, right? Suppose you have a big HR issue that you are dealing with, and you just take that issue and you just dump it into AI without giving it any context. What's going to happen is there's a huge chance that that AI might hallucinate, right? So it might give you a response and you might think, wow, this is smart, but because it lacks context, that will be far from from the truth. So the more specific you are, the better. And I'll speak a bit more when I come to the frameworks. I see that we are joined.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Ian Domite is here. I just want to highlight that.
Okay.
That's the gentleman. And the questions that you asked, I've responded to your WhatsApp gift. So you should have it on your WhatsApp if you have your phone close by. Otherwise, he's in studio. He can respond accordingly.
Okay. No, I have the question. So just for the interest of time, firstly, Ian, thank you very much for raising your hand. Much appreciated. Pleasure to meet you.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Yeah. So, Ian, you have three top challenges. The first one is connecting with customers. You have a lead generation process. You also have a challenge of raising awareness of the services that you provide, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Within a minute or so, could you describe quickly what is it that your business does?
So I'm an architect, but I switched to landscape design. So I design gardens in the hospitality, commercial and residential markets.
Okay. And who would you say is your ideal customer profile?
So I have two, because the one is more in the hospitality space and they're quite different. And they are often boutique hotels or upmarket lodges, and they want an earth to table guest experience. So it's edible gardens.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay.
And then the other client is a city dweller who wants to have indigenous, beautiful garden that's also sort of nature forward and water wise, whilst being aesthetically pleasing. Okay.
So you mostly deal with B2C. You don't deal with any businesses whatsoever?
Sometimes, sometimes through like referral, I do deal with other businesses.
Okay. Cool. That's enough for the first part. The second question is when I said what takes most of your time, you said it's plant sourcing, it's drafting, emailing, and project tracking. So plant sourcing, unfortunately, we don't have an AI that can plant trees for you. But not yet. There's some interesting stuff Boston Robotics is doing, so we never know. Maybe very soon. But on drafting, emailing, and project tracking, how do you currently manage that? Do you have a system, or is it all over the place? How does that work?
It is quite all over the place because of the different type of clients. So I actually, and often it's design based. So it is a lot of like my drawings or my my renderings and things like that. And then it's project lists, planting lists, things like that. So it's often it's all quite each project feels quite different.
Okay. And then if you had a magic wish wand, you said that you would want to develop a 6-month waiting list for ideal clients, which you've given me a good understanding of who those clients are. But then you also say projects. So do you have specific projects in mind that you want to target?
Yeah, I think it speaks to those two ideal customers. So the lodgers and then homeowners in the Cape Town area.
Okay. So there's several ways in which and by the way, Ian is a perfect example of entrepreneurs that are doing really well. They have so much potential to grow, but they just need that small little push, right? And I'm going to attempt to show you what that might look like, right? So for me to do that, I'm just going to switch screens in a little bit. Give me one
Whilst
minute.
you're doing that, thank you so much, Ian, for being here. And then again, there's some people that have left and thanked us for the relevant content gift. They are eagerly awaiting these slides post this session. And just for those that need to connect with Gift, what we will also do is share all his details on the original LinkedIn posts, as well as every other place where we have shared the event.
Okay. Thanks for that,
Ready?
Anissa. Yeah, I'm ready. So, Ian, this
So
is...
Can you hear me, Jeff?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, Ian. Can you see my screen? Hello?
Not yet.
Oh.
Don't see your screen yet. Oh, there's Ian. Ian's back.
Okay. I'm actually sharing my screen now, but let me try and do it again.
Hold on. Have you got it in as the, let me check. Hold on. Gift. Add to stage. Is it that?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Okay. Thank you.
So, thanks, Ian, for that. So for any AI tool, what you described is a case, right? Is a case study, or it's like a case that an AI could very much respond to. What I'm showing you here is how you should engage with any AI, right? And this is predominantly for the first part of the process, which is to create a prompt, feed it into an AI, whether it's Gemini or whatever may be the case. And what you do is you tell it the role, right? To say, I'm going to do this live, right? I'm just switching screens. So I'm going to share this screen. So I'm on Claude now, right? You say, I am. Ian, for lack of time, I'm just going to use your LinkedIn post, right? Your LinkedIn profile. You say, I am Ian, right? I want you to assist with the following. And then what I'll do is I'll copy the different challenges that you shared with us, right? Connecting with my clients, lead generation, awareness of my services, right? And then I'll go back to the slide shortly so that you see this. What is the context? Like, what is the context that you also need to give context, right? In this, to say, I am a Cape Town. I am a Cape Town based entrepreneur. Now, this is not the actual solution, and I'm just doing this, quickly so that we don't lose a lot of time. Um, and then the last thing is your outcome. So, what do you want? The outcome should be putting this to develop a 6-month waiting thing, right? Okay. So, okay. So, let's try ChatGPT. I'll try ChatGPT. ChatGPT. Again, it doesn't really matter what you use. All that matters is how you use it, right? I'm gonna just post the same thing. Post it out now. Obviously, this is all Ian, right? So you know that you are looking at high income owners. You've already spoken about Airbnb investors, but where are you going to get this, right? So this is where interesting tools that I've mentioned in there can actually start coming in. So for example, if what we want to do is find you customers, right? And it says it's homeowners in Cape Town, property developers. There's a tool called Hunter, right? Hunter is a tool that you can also integrate with some of your existing platforms, right? And then you just describe. You say, I want property developers in Cape Town, right? And then you search. Hunter, okay, it's not. Hunter should then give you a list of all the different property owners, right, within Cape Town. I removed this because it's not showing. But anyways, what is interesting about this, Ian, and this is why I was asking about your ideal customer, is you can start then saying, if I am speaking with this company, ArtSpace, who in the company do I need to speak to? So if I had a chance as Ian to speak to this company, who is the decision maker that is going to give me a yes or no answer, right? Ideally, you want to come to decision makers and then say, Ian, if I may ask, who do you usually engage with? Oh, Ian has dropped. Okay, Ian has dropped.
Ian's audio is gone, but I suggested he post in the private chat with us if there's any questions.
Sure. It's okay. I think what I wanted to then show is, you can find people like the email addresses here, right? That you are able to start then reaching out to. But I'm doing this manually. What I wanted to show Ian as well is then, if you use Zapier, for example, you can actually, everything that I just did now, number one, remember, what did I do? I went and I told ChatGPT or whatever it is, who am I? It told me the ideal client, which is property owners, high income architects needing landscape. Then I went and I found a tool, right, that can give me the exact person that I need to speak to, not just a generic email that I can find online, right?
Ian is back. Sorry, Gift. He says he's back.
Oh, okay. Ian, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So maybe to just freshen up a bit, I was saying that the first thing that you do is you're gonna use the RACI prompting framework, right? In any AI of your choice. I tried to use my Claude, but it says credits. Again, I'm trying to show this for free. I don't want people to be paying for something they don't see the return on investment on. So I'm using a free ChatGPT. I've used the RACI framework. I've described whatever I need. It told me your non-negotiable clients, and one of those is your property developers. I then went into Hunter to find property developers. And then when you just left, Ian, what I was asking is, when you work with a property developer, who usually is the decision maker that says, Ian, we are going with you. What's the title of that person in many cases?
It's usually like director.
Any director, or like is there like a specific department that you sort of need to engage with?
Yeah, it'll probably be like director within the property division, or yeah.
Okay. Now, it's very important that you know that, right? It's important that you understand. So, for example, in this company, the director of asset management is this guy. But is this the person that you want to speak to, or do you want to be speaking to Steve, who is the chief asset officer, right? Whatever it is, I don't know. But I'm just saying that it's important you know that. Anyways, my point here was you can then also get their email. If I press reveal, it will actually reveal their email, right? So now what is left for you to do is then start automating the process of reaching out, right? Reaching out would be, oh, sorry, I haven't been sharing my screen. So reaching out would also be something that you have to do with other additional tools, right? So Zapier has really interesting formats of connecting your email, drafting sequences. I'm trying to show you my Zapier and how you could potentially use it here. But ultimately, Ian, what you can have here is a process that has a lead qualification criteria, is a process that then gives you the ideal person that you want to reach out to. And then you also have the ability to start. So, for example, this is Zapier, right? So you have the ability to also start having a great conversation with some of your leads. If I say here, I want to have, I want to create, let's say, a nurture deal, right? So you obviously can change this, right? But for example, the apps that you will connect here, it'll be Hunter. That's what I was showing you in here, right? Yeah. This is what I was going to show you here, right? Then what you do is you have another active, you have another AI or platform that you use to organize your emails, right? And I'll give you a secret, Ian, because you've raised your hand and I appreciate it. How I do sales previously is people do sales, without science. And my previous co-founder told me that sales is science, and I strongly believe it. What I do is I find the person that I need to reach out to, as I've shown you. I then send them an email, and if they don't respond within X amount of days, literally I have a formula that calculates those days. If they don't respond in a certain amount of days, then I reach out to them on LinkedIn, right? And in many cases, people do accept your LinkedIn response. And if they accept, you can then send them an email, a message, and say, hey, Gift, thank you for connecting. By the way, I sent you an email, just wanted to check if you've seen it, right? That you don't even have to do yourself. You can build it in Zapier. We obviously don't have time, but I was going to show you how to connect, firstly, Hunter, how to connect whatever tool that you're going to use to create those email sequences, how to connect LinkedIn, and then how to also build a dashboard for your business. And what that dashboard,
You are welcome to go ahead. I think for the audience, they are loving the content. I'm seeing some of the comments on YouTube and on Instagram. So please go ahead. I have also asked those that are sitting in studio with us, there are a few people here. If they want to come into studio as well and ask some questions, I'm inviting them in as well for the remainder of our 30 minutes.
Okay. So I mean, Zapier is so cool, right? Again, it's AI, right? So you can, what I've said, you can actually just say it. You can say it to Zapier and say, hey, this is what I want to do. Build it for me, right? And it will do exactly that. Let me try and just, do it quickly. Skip. All right. So here would actually, I'm not showing you the right thing. Give me a minute. Okay.
Ian, this is mind blowing, right?
Totally. I'm like trying to hold on.
Just again, I
luckily
want
it's
everyone to
recorded, so I
know
can
that
come back.
they can get holds. They can definitely reach out to Gift for a consult session. He is just absolutely amazing, and you walk away feeling empowered after that.
Yeah. So Ian, literally what we can say is, I'm going to say it. I'm going to do it here quickly. Oh, sorry. I want you to create for me a Zapier that connects my Hunter with a email sending application, like Active Campaign. And then I want to have my leads qualified there, send with an email send. And then I will want to connect LinkedIn so that after after they don't respond, maybe after 2 days or 3 days, you connect with them on LinkedIn. And as soon as they connect, I want you to automate a message that says, I have sent you an email. Thank you for connecting. Look forward to hearing from you. And if they don't respond on LinkedIn, I want you to send a follow-up email. Okay. So, so again, this is another, part of AI. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect, Ian, right? But I think my intention is to show you that everything that we're speaking actually works. Should I assume, Hunter? Yes. This is the right one. So as you can see, right, it's building me an entire workflow. It's a 6-step. There's Hunter, we find leads, which is what I was showing you. There's Active Campaign. This is where it sends out emails. You wait for 2 days, then you send a LinkedIn connection. Then once someone accepts, it will send them and say, I have sent you an email. Thank you for connecting. Looking forward to hearing from you. And all of this, you can get guidance, right? Let's say, would you like, which would you prefer? Basic setup, upgrade. Okay, now it's asking me to upgrade. I don't want to upgrade. I told you I'm a very stingy entrepreneur. But
you're a wise entrepreneur.
Yeah. So anyways, Ian, this is your first problem, right? Or rather your wish list, right?
Yeah.
Now it's actually building. We can continue to like test it out and do all of those things. There's parts where you're going to have to put like triggers and whatnot, which will take a bit of time. But, I think my point is what you said to me is possible, right? AI makes it so easy, right? Literally if you just do this thing, Ian, if this call ends and you just do this thing, tell you what, by the end of today, you're going to have at least 50 qualified clients, right? That you can start reaching out to, and you're going to have a process. So all you're going to have to do, and this is the last part that I didn't show, is you need to then build yourself a dashboard that shows what's working and what's not working. And that's all you focus on as an entrepreneur. So when you wake up, you don't send the emails. That has already been taken care of by the workflow and the AIs that you've deployed. What you do is you open your email, your dashboard, and you say, how many people have opened my emails this week? Oh, 1 out of 10 people have opened my emails. Why? Then you research, right? Then you say, oh, the ones that have opened my email, I had a different subject. Maybe that's why. Then the next email, you change the subject. You know what I mean? So you already start being so intelligent. Your business is being led by intelligence, and it's not just you, just sending emails, right? So I'll pause there, Ian. I hope this was helpful.
Super stimulating. Yeah, man.
I'm sure you have many questions, but I still do have things to cover in the presentation. But I'm here. If you want to connect, if you want to speak more, reach out, and this goes out to everyone on the call, really, listening. So yeah, I'm happy to share a bit more, and as we connect. So. We just spoke now, and thanks for that, Ian. This is what we just spoke about. I mean, what I showed Ian was this part here. I just showed him the email marketing and the lead scoring part. I haven't shown him how to use this for social media, right? Because what Ian is doing now is outbound, which is great. But the best type of sale is inbound, right? Where customers reach out to you, right? So, and how do they reach out to you? Social media, your SEO. And there's also ways in which you can deploy AI to actually help you with that, right? Ian is in Cape Town, he's doing landscaping or whatever services that he offers. But how many other people exist out there that do the same thing? So what makes you stand out? Ian might not even know what makes him stand out, but guess what? If you start engaging with AI, it can do a deep, comprehensive market analysis within Cape Town, identify the similarities within your competitors, know how you can position yourself, and then you use that to start checking out social media posts and then also improve your SEO, right?
Powerful stuff, right?
Yeah. Cool. So there's also operations as well, right? I mean, here we spoke a little bit about this, from meeting intelligence to some of the documents that one can create. There's so much there's so much that each of these blocks can do, and I really, really do wish I can go deep in it and kind of show you. For example, market intelligence is interesting, and I'll speak about you, Ian. You're already on stage, right? So, Ian, there's one person that, with the right type of intelligence, Ian just needs to reach out to for any landscaping project, for any property agent, but who is that person and what responsibilities do they have? Now, for me, those are type of intelligence that can really just help you quite a lot. But here's what's interesting. If you're unsure, Ian, which maybe might be the case today, if you are unsure of who that person is, find 4 people, meet with them, have your AI meeting there, right? And then ask them the same questions, ask them the same validating questions regarding your services to say, okay, you're not selling, you don't sell. People hate being sold to, right? Like if I get a call from one of those insurance guys, I swear, like I tell them a piece of my mind, right? Yeah. So we hate being sold to. Rather, be curious and lead with questions, right? So when you meet these 4 clients, what you could say is, look, I know you guys, own these properties. And I know you probably have someone there that's doing landscaping for you, but really, what would an ideal person look like? And what is it, if there is really, that this current person is not doing, right? People love sharing, man. When you ask them questions, they will feel, they want to feel smart, right? And they will tell you all these things. Your note, exactly. Your note taker is taking everything on, right? You ask 4 different positions, right? So maybe the chief of property or the chief of asset or the chief of whatever. You do that across different companies. You will, without a doubt, know exactly who you should be speaking to so that you don't waste time, right? This is just an example of what a meeting intelligence platform can do for you. I told you initially that AI is powerful, but what's limiting us from tapping into its full power is our own imagination. So really, I implore you and then really encourage you to think wild. Like if you've watched the movie Ready Player One, think like that, think sci-fi, then try and build it up, because you really can. The tools exist today, right? Another small, trick I'll show you, Ian, right? So on the documentation generation, suppose that, I don't know, maybe you are looking for funding right now. I'm just going to say you are, right? Suppose you're looking for funding, or suppose there is an RFP that the city of Cape Town just put out there to say we are looking for independent individuals that can give us the services that you offer. Do not waste time, reading an 8-page long document, right? AI can really help with that. It can help you understand what's required, but it can also help you respond to what is required, right? Most of these things ask the same questions. You want to start having a repository of you are building like your own AI mind. Let me tell you what I mean by that, right? So my laptop right now is connected to my cloud, and my cloud is connected to all the AIs I use, which means at any given point, my AI knows everything that's in my cloud. So even if I have a competition that's coming and I want my AI to help me, with the application, when I say, help me with this, it not only just reads what's on the internet, it reads what's on the internet, but it uses my own data, almost like a brain that I'm building for my own AI to help me with these things, right? So this is also what documentation could do, so that when the AI generates documentation for you, one, it's accurate. Two, it's a true reflection of what's actually in your business and what's actually happening in your business. And then the third one is it can, give you realistic, responses that are really relevant for your business, right? Finance, we spoke about this as well, things like invoicing. I mean, it's crazy how many people spend time just invoicing or following up, right? Or doing bookkeeping. Now, AI can help that, right? We can help with that. And another question, people on the call might have, but might not want to answer is, but Gift, what happens to everyone else that's currently doing this work right now in my company? Yeah. Do I fire them?
I was going to get to that question.
Yeah, right. So let's say you have a finance intern, right? You have a finance and admin intern, and this is an individual who just graduated from from varsity. Maybe they have a bachelor's in finance, and right now in your startup, what they are responsible for doing is bookkeeping, which literally just means like they need to manually look at your books and whatnot, is invoicing, right? Is cash flow projections and whatnot. And that takes 80% of their time. Trust me, no one enjoys manual work like that. When you start employing AI in your organization, you are not trying to replace that person. You are helping that person be more efficient with the work they do so that they can focus on other exciting things. Human beings, by default, I'm a Christian, so I do believe we were created by God, but I believe also that there's just so much that we can offer, right? And what we are seeing now is a transformation of what a job is, right? Coming back to this, if you have a finance and admin intern, they can't all just like they can't just be invoicing and doing bookkeeping alone. This is someone that can help you, better position your business. This is someone that can help you better look at other additional revenues within your business. They understand finance, right? This is someone that also even understands regulation to say, from an economic point of view in South Africa, there's an upcoming law that is really going to affect your business. And, from an economics point of view, this is how I think we should position the business. That's what including AI in your business, that's what it gives you, right? It gives you the ability to make every single employee you have a super employee, right? Not to replace them, right?
I have to just be cognizant that we have 15 minutes remaining.
Sure.
And the time has just flown by. I
Yeah.
have asked some of the individuals in studio. I'm going to make this one final call. If you want to come out of in the waiting list into the studio like Ian is, please type it in the private chat so I can bring you in there. If you don't want to come into studio, but you have a question, please post that now because we only have 15 minutes remaining of this segment. We're going to need to get you back, Jeff.
Appreciation.
Sorry, say that again, Ian?
Just appreciation. If I get kicked out, just saying thanks for the super cool.
You won't.
Yeah, anytime. I'll try and wrap it up. I just have case studies. I'll try and be quick. You said 15 minutes. I'll try and do it in like maybe 7, right? So
like I said, we always go over. So if we're happy to go over, I'm happy to go over. Depends on your capacity, Gift.
Sure. Yeah. So look, what I showed Ian is interesting, but it's just a small tip of the iceberg. AI can really transform businesses, and I think my biggest frustration, we've worked with over 1,500 entrepreneurs. Myself alone, I have right now about 50 entrepreneurs that I mentor, but I've worked with more than 500 entrepreneurs, and my biggest frustration is people don't know what AI is. They know the concept of it, but they don't know what AI is, right? And I'll show you through these case studies how AI can be used to scale a business, right? I'll start with Flutterwave. If I'm not mistaken, they are now $1 billion company. You might know them. They had a challenge. They were processing millions of transactions across 34 African countries. Now, that statement alone speaks volume because every single country has its own regulatory financial thing, right? So to do financial transaction in South Africa, you have to be compliant with X amount. There's just a lot going on. Now, think of that, 34 countries. Their challenge was manually reviewing fraud. And if we know fraud grows crazy every single year, they deployed AI and they basically had a machine learning model that analyzed transactions in real time, flagged any suspicious activity, and then started new fraud patterns across markets. With just that, 99.9%. I mean, literally the last time I saw 99.9% was during a Detoll advert that like Detoll kills 99% gems. But this is almost non-existent. With just implementation of AI, they were able to solve fraud. They were able to scale even better. They were able to process even more money, right? So for me, this is a really good use case. Bring it, and the Flutterwave, I think, is in Nigeria. Bringing it back home to South Africa, we have Yoko, which also had almost like a similar challenge of lack of visibility into business performance, right? So they had transactions of data, but had no way of turning it into insightful actions or insightful, data that they can use for decision making. They employed AI. Had a really interesting analytics dashboard that gave them merchants real-time insights from peak trading hours, customer spending patterns, inventory recommendations, benchmarking against other similar businesses within the area. Now, what I need to really highlight is in many cases, the solution is not the end goal. In other words, when you start having this intelligence, let's maybe quickly go back to Ian. If Ian builds this sales automated process that I just sort of showed, and then he has a dashboard that shows him how many emails are opened and so forth, that's not the end goal. The end goal is to take that and start using it in your business as you start growing, right? And it's almost like a dashboard of a car, right? So they also had some really interesting insights as well, right? And actually, I forgot, there's lessons for this business, right? And it's for Flutterwave, it's AI doesn't just detect problems. It learns, it adapts faster, better, quicker, cheaper than any human team, right? So why wouldn't you want to use this? For Yoko, the lesson we can learn from that is your existing data today, no matter how small it is, that's a gold mine. You know, you need to extract it and get some really useful insight from that, right? Even if it's just a simple transactional record, that on its own can tell you so much about your business that you didn't even know before. There's another one that's quite interesting as well, based here in South Africa. It's called Aerobotics. They had thousands of farmers, thousands of hectares that couldn't detect crop disease, pest infestation, irritation problems. They just had no visibility of what was going on. And as a result of that, 20 to 30% of their crops were being lost, right? They combined drone imagery with AI computer to visually analyze every single crop. And just by doing that alone, right, they expanded to 18 countries. Their crop went up, the reduction went down, and they went up by 30%. They were able to analyze millions of trees daily. They recently raised $17 million as a result of this. So there's real money here. There's real impact here. Now, the lesson here we can learn is AI sees what a human cannot see at scale, right? Think about the vision and what this could mean for your business. Perhaps this is controlling the quality of the work that you do. Perhaps this is, inventory counting. Perhaps this is your customer flow. Perhaps is what you are doing right now in your sales process that's wrong. AI is that eye, it's that thing that can see way beyond what we human beings can see. There's also Soup South. I love Soup South because I know the founder, and I know their story before they were where they are today. They had a problem of matching the right cleaner with the right customer, considering location, availability, skills, preferences, rating, real time. All of this is data. And they had a solution where they basically had a matching algorithm that considered more than 15 factors, right? And then it basically helped them build a pattern that was not affected by demand, right? This not only optimized the customer satisfaction, it also meant that their cleaners were able to get more money, right? By implementing this, booking time reduced, customer satisfaction went up. They expanded across Southern Africa. They have more than 20,000 service providers. The lesson for this is AI matching recommendations engines aren't just for Netflix. Any business can use AI to match supply with demand. Any business. This business here is for people that help you clean, but they used the same, kind of artificial thinking layer that a company like Netflix uses to help you match or recommend a movie. They used the same type of thinking, applied it in their business. They grew like crazy, right? So again, don't let your imagination slow you down. There's a few other case studies in here that I want to speak about, but we won't have time. I think I want to close it with this, right? This for me, I did it realistically now with Ian, but really remember this: role, action, context, expectation, race. This is a really good framework for anyone who wants to really start leveraging AI. AI is good, but is not perfect. And the most of the imperfect part comes from human beings, right? Like, in a sense that if you use how you use AI and how I use AI is very different, right? Because I understand this. Everything I do with AI, I firstly give it a role and say, imagine that you are the best, investor out there. That's the role. Secondly, I then say, your action is to invest in this business. And then maybe I can take Ian's business and put it there, right? And say, your role is to invest in this business. What I want you to do is understand that Ian's business, now I'm giving it context. Ian's business has been in existence for X amount of years. They have X amount of customers. They're based in Cape Town. They are focusing on this and this and this and this. Expectation, the last one. I expect you to give me a yes or no as an investor. If it's a no, I expect you to give me detailed feedback of what is it that I can do in comparison to my partners or competitors. I expect you as well to maybe even serve as a mentor, right? What's cool about AI, so I name my agents, right? So I have an agent called Mas J, that's like for creative stuff. I have an AI called something else for like intelligence marketing, markets. So when I type, I just say, hey, this. And then because I've already trained what that is, it automatically knows, right? So you can then also say, you can also then say, I expect you to also serve as a mentor, and your name from now on moving forward is going to be called this. Whenever I say this name, you remember that I want this mentor who's an investor, who's well established in the space. You click send, it'll give you some of the most intelligent thing. What I'm showing you here costs more than $500,000 because this is the same type of thinking that companies like McKinsey, PwC, and all these big consulting companies actually use, right, to train or to rather do their consulting against these massive organizations. I'm not just saying this. There was a study that came out last week where they are showing that Claude is already eating up the consulting market. Because why would I need to go to McKinsey if I can do this on my own, right?
So, Gift, I want to ask a question there because with that, I mean, we spoke earlier around AI's not taking positions, but for service consulting, professional services related businesses, how do they stay ahead of the game? Because, do you adopt and train the AI as you're describing we should? And that gives us the edge? Or how do we stay ahead of the game?
I think, Anissa, what people need to understand is we are literally witnessing an industrial revolution.
Indeed.
Previously, it wasn't like this because what an industrial revolution is or was something tangible. So you can see it, right? Before the cars came, there were horses. And because New York City was so densely populated, one economist predicted that in a few years' time, New York City is going to be inhabitable because of the manure that the horses were going to produce due to the growing population. Guess what? The engine came, that whole prediction was wrong, right? And it was clear to everyone that before we used to have horses, now we have cars. It's clear, you can see it, right?
Tangible.
AI is far more powerful than that. One of the leaders I follow said something that AI is human beings' best invention, but also last invention. Because beyond AI, there's nothing else that we as human beings can invent, right? Now, with that said, you need to understand that every single industry as we speak today is being disrupted. What that looks like, no one knows. No one knows, right? No one knew that when the smartphone came, smartphones would enable companies as big as Uber, as big as Facebook, as big as, they came because of also another technological advancement. Now, to your question about how consulting companies are going to respond to this, I say they need to embrace it, right? Because AI is not asking permission if it should do this or not. It's here and it's doing it with or without you. The real question is, what role do you play in the future of AI? And I think that's really exciting because this question is for every single person, right? I mean, as you mentioned in my intro, I'm the CEO of Auraa, and we've built arguably South Africa's first fully developed AI platform that can create music, and it works with artists, and it's purely trained on African data sets, right? Producers, artists, everyone, they're calling and saying, you're going to take our jobs. If I'm a producer and I've been making beats all my life, now you have this tool that can do something even better than me in a few seconds. What am I going to do, right? Like, how am I still useful? Well, use it. Why don't you use it, right? And you have to then think, if I have something like this, then what is my role in this? And it goes to every single person. It goes to every single entrepreneur here. It goes to every single industry. It goes to every single profession, right? It sounds a bit scary, but the upside of it is new things are going to come. There's industries that don't exist today that will exist as a result of AI. I'm talking trillions of dollars. There's new career paths. There's new skills that are going to be in so much demand because of AI. And a lot of the time, because we don't know what those are, it's hard to justify what's happening now, right? Sure. If someone told you your iPhone is going to now replace, your laptop, you're going to carry it with it, you wouldn't think, oh, because of this, Uber is going to exist or Facebook is going to exist, right? Sure. But rest assured. Anyways, I will leave with this action plan. Go explore today, tomorrow. Sign up for ChatGPT. Go try Claude. Ask questions about your business. Do analysis, whatever. Go explore and learn. Secondly, and I know someone on this call already that needs to do this. Ian, this is for you. Pick one task. Pick one task that you can automate, whether it's Zapier, whether it's whatever, something that saves you time. Do that. Thirdly, create content, try it out with a small topic, do this and that, try it out. Then once you start seeing it, start optimizing, right? And then you review. And if you are happy with that small process that you created, create another one, right? Start learning. Common mistakes to not avoid. I'm closing, Anissa. You cannot just copy and paste without editing. That's not how it works. Whatever you do, AI is not perfect. Always review, fact check it, inject your personal voice or brand or whatever guidelines. You can't just copy paste what AI uses and put it out. And I'm already seeing that. It's so funny. I was reading a newspaper not so long ago. The editor used AI and they forgot to remove those dash, right? And you could see it in the newspaper. So that's very bad. So do that. Use the RACI framework I showed you. Start with one high impact master, then master task, and then expand it from there, right? Never paste anything confidential on AI, whether it's like finance, especially in the free tools, right? Because the free tools are free because of something. Now, what is that? It's your data, right? But the minute you pay, it does change, right? You also have your own little storage somewhere in a data center where your stuff is kind of protected. So even that, like, be very cautious what you put out there on AI, right? Secondly, I would say that it's important in anyone who says AI is going to replace judgment, for you to say it is not going to be a replacement. It's going to be like a co-pilot. I hate using that word because co-pilot is also in AI.
In AI.
But think about it like that. At the end of the day, you are the one that's going to make the decisions. At the end of the day, you are the one that has the power to say yes or no, right? So it doesn't replace you. What we have in here cannot be duplicated on a machine.
But Gift,
yeah,
just one departure point on that. I heard that the AIs across the different AIs is actually widely used for mental health reasons, right? And so, and the reason behind that is we assume that AI doesn't have the empathy component that us humans have. So I want you just to give us some insight into that as a closing point.
sure. That is a tough one, Anisa. So
Sorry.
last year, no, it's a good one. So last year, and I'm quite eager to see this year's report. So last year, OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, released, a report showing what ChatGPT is being used for, and rightfully, emotional, personal stuff was right up there. Therapy and whatnot. So it even is more extreme in Asia, in the Asian parts of the world. Like, I know, for example, in Japan, there's a lady that just recently got married to ChatGPT.
Yes, I saw
right?
that.
So unfortunately, we are going into this crazy, weird, hard to understand world, and it's tough to respond to that, right? For me, I do feel like it will not replace human beings. I still fundamentally believe what we human beings are capable of is far beyond AI, particularly from an emotional point of view. With that being said, it is important to note that these models are becoming more and more advanced, right? Because if being human means understanding Anisha's emotion, and seeing and understanding where she comes from, and being empathetic, if that what being human is already, then AI is that today, right?
Yes.
But I think being human is beyond that, right? There's the spiritual part of it. There's, and I think the conversation is really deep. And to close it, the founder of OpenAI was asked the very same question, right? And they even ask him, so if people are already using AI like this, what do you see happening 2 years from now on? His answer was, I don't know. You're right.
Of course.
This is the creator of it. So I think there's still a lot of weird things that we're still going to see. And I say that because AI is still in its infancy stages, even as we see it today. It's still like a little baby that's just learning to walk. By the time AI is a teenager, that's where the world is going to be a weird place to be in, right? Because...
But I'd like to say that the differentiator for us humans is that we are conditioned to have connection, meaningful human connection and community. So I have this feeling, and I spoke to a friend about this, is that the community aspect can never be overtaken by AI. So we think, I don't know, based on what you just said.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna say it's emotive, it's whatnot, then go ask the lady that's married to ChatGPT. She'll tell you she feels all those things with ChatGPT, right?
True.
So at the end of the day, it's a weird world that we're going into, but I think it's also exciting, right? Because was it not weird previously that we like you just met someone by swiping left or right. That's a weird concept. It's the norm
Still
now.
is.
Right? No, but it's the norm. There's couples who've gotten married, thousands, if not millions of them, right? So I think over time, things that are new are obviously weird at first until everyone starts doing it. Then it's the norm, and then they are widely accepted by society. And with AI, no one can fully predict what is actually going to happen, right? But
Frightening.
yeah, there's a few more slides, but I think this is all. Connect with me on LinkedIn. You can scan this. This is my email. Thank you for having me.
It has been an absolute delight to have you on here, Gift. I mean, every time I listen to you, I gain something so much bigger than the first time because it just builds and builds. So for those that found this useful, please don't hesitate to connect with Gift. He's very patient, he's extremely wise, and he's really going to hold you accountable as well. Just keep that in mind because he is passionately inspired to make sure you walk away with something tangible. Ian, it's been a pleasure having you here in studio and being bold to share your case study. Gift, there has been quite a bit of comment that I've tried to post. A lot of people have thanked you, that this has been such a beautiful paradigm shift for them because they used to see AI very differently. And I think we then have achieved the objective of today is to say, don't fear AI. The human side is still there, and don't necessarily sell, as you had highlighted earlier on, but leverage AI with your humanness and find a way to drive that meaningful connection. So from my side, I'm really grateful. Is there any closing question or comment from Ian before we close out the segment?
I'm just excited to get off the call so I can start all my homework.
Well done, well done. So Gift, you've done right in that regard. So Gift, please stay on I'm going to end the live, but please stay on. We just normally do a quick debrief, which doesn't take too long. Ian, you're welcome to stay for that quick debrief and then share details or I can share your details with Gift and vice versa. And again, thank you for everyone that stayed with us on YouTube and Instagram. I'm sorry that I did not engage you as much as we normally did, but I think we were highly engaged as it is with Gift's amazing content and just his passion. So thank you again. Please do watch the replay, and you most certainly are welcome to connect with myself or Gift, and those that have sent their request via email or the QR code, we will send out the slides after this segment. So thank you again. Bye for now until the next quarterly event. And do sign up to be a mentor as well. We mustn't forget that. Maybe you could become a mentor in the context of AI. So please don't hesitate to connect with us in that way. I just want to see the private chat. Okay, so Elsa wants to be in. Let me just get her in. Sorry, before we go, we just said bye. Elsa, are you in? Yes. Please come off mute and off camera.
Yes, I am in.
Thank you. So
no, I wanted to be in just for the debrief, Anissa.
Okay. So Elsa's a lot behind the scenes, but thank you to Elsa for making this possible today. I mean, she's really the project lead on this program, and so we're very grateful that she has honored us to have such an amazing guest on today. So I'm going to say goodbye. Elsa, anything you want to say to the audience?
Just want to say thank you very much to each and everyone who joined us today. What an insightful, fruitful, and engaging session it was. Ian, thank you so much for joining us. I think, Ian, we would love to connect with you. I see some great connectivity between what you do and what Connect2Grow does as well. So I think we need to have you on as our next guest speaker. Maybe, you never know. But thank you, Ian, for joining us in studio. It would be lovely to always have you in studio, and everyone else who joined us today in studio. Absolutely fantastic and super, super grateful. Gift, you are definitely a gift. to us
Yes.
humans. Whoever named you, that person deserves their flowers. Thank you for being a gift in a very uncertain world right now. I love that you mentioned the dating site. Funny enough, I met my husband on a dating site, and years ago, I know it was frowned upon. It was frowned upon. And so even today, when I tell my grandparents where we met, they seem more accepting of it now. But years ago, it was like strange danger. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
good that you
Yeah.
mentioned that.
So,
So thank you
yeah, no,
for being
I
our
didn't
guide.
know. Yeah, it's interesting. So the next one will probably be AI recommended that we meet. So maybe that's where we're going
Yeah.
next. Yeah.
I like that. I
Yeah.
like that.
Anyway, Elsa, is there
Thank you
anything you
so,
want
so
to
much.
say in terms of our next event, that it would be in person? Anything you want to give a sneak peek on?
Yes, I do. Our next event is definitely in person. It is going to be in the month of June. Since it is Youth Month, we have said, let's bring our young people, face to face with industry experts. Just a snippet. The theme will be Speed Connect, and I'm going to leave it right there. I am going to be sharing more little details with you guys in the coming week.
Thank you. So on that note, thank you again. I'm going to end the live. For those in studio, please stay with me, and I will see everyone again next quarter.